Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Franklin with your Garrison Public Affairs Office. This week, Janice Wright, also of the Garrison Public Affairs Office, will be talking suicide prevention and awareness with two specialists. All that and more on this week's Great Big Podcast.
Summer, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, we're glad you're here because suicide prevention and awareness is something that is very impactful in the military community. So we want to hear all about what the Great Place is doing to promote that.
Absolutely. Suicide Prevention Month is September. Every September, we run a campaign to get everyone in the Army family involved in fighting this fight. For the month of September, we're going to have a variety of activities across the garrison. One of the major highlights of September is the 1 Degree of Separation comedy show. It's a comedy show about mental health and suicide. So it's a different spin on, typical education or training surrounding mental health or fighting stigma. But I'm sure it's going to be a great turnout. Those dates are the 12th and 13th of September. It will be held over at the People First Center. So we'll be posting flyers and pushing that information out to the public soon.
Sounds like a really creative way to push the agenda and support the agenda in kind of a lighthearted manner.
Absolutely.
Take some of the serious away without taking, the total impact and the total overall importance of the subject away. So great. Look forward to that.
Absolutely.
What do you think are some of the core objectives of the suicide prevention program?
Our overall core objectives is really to reduce incidents. Okay, we have to ensure our war fighters are ready to meet the mission, that their personal readiness level, they're not impacted by anything that's going to keep them from meeting the mission. So we're just trying to make sure, like as far as our roles go, the suicide prevention coordinators, we do a lot of training and education and awareness just to help educate everyone, leaders, civilians, service members, family members, on the importance of early identification, recognizing those warning signs if there's some risk factors in that individual's life, and then to intervene early, get some supports and help early on to mitigate the risk of suicide. So that's a large part of our role, is to ensure that we are educating the population on those techniques.
Okay. Does that differ in the civilian world? I know that the military workforce and the civilian workforce are vastly different. So do those core objectives and those efforts differ?
So we're all human beings. So we take care of our civilian population just as we take care of our military population. One thing with our military demographic, some of the challenges they face, like the high op tempo, intense training schedules that may be a little bit different from the civilian side. So it's more of an emphasis of fighting that stigma. Fighting stigma is one of the challenges with the military community because, there's the thoughts of this may impact my career. This may affect me in becoming a recruiter or applying for Ranger School. So sometimes that barrier is there. You see that more so on the military side than you would on the civilian sector.
And given the unique stresses, some of which you just mentioned, such as, deployments and reintegration, what are some of the more significant challenges to preventing suicide that you guys face?
Well, with our team, it's really flexibility. We have to tailor our training, education. We tailor that to the specific needs of the unit or of the individual, depending on what's going on. So if a commander contacts us and lets us know these are some of the risky behaviors that are happening within our footprint, then we can tailor our education to meet that need. Or we can even partner up with family advocacy, or if it's where they're having a lot of alcohol abuse and suicidal thoughts within a unit, we can team up with the prevention coordinators under ASAP, and we can go out together and do a tailored training to be able to reach that demographic.
Okay, so you just mentioned some specific services you guys provide. Are there additional resources and specific programs and initiatives that are in place right now at the Great Place?
Oh, absolutely. Fort Cavazos has a program for every challenge or issue a service member or civilian or family member may have. There's a program here to meet every need, and sometimes we do team up. That's why we appreciate the IPAC team that's here, because they help piece us together to tackle these things. So we are addressing all the needs at one time and educating commanders at the same time on multiple topics. So there's a variety of resources here. Some of those resources that we normally refer to is, of course, behavioral health, and then outpatient behavioral health for the military. But even on the civilian side, civilians can also visit the EAP office, Employee Assistance Program. It's at the Shoemaker Center on the 3rd floor. There's a variety. There's the family advocacy team. You have your military family life consultants, the MFLACs, and then we have our wonderful chaplain team that's here. So there's a variety of resources. That list can go on forever.
And in your opinion, what strategies have proven to be the most successful in helping to prevent and bring awareness to suicide?
I would say what DOD has prescribed is the Ask Care Escort. That's remained the technique and strategy. It is evidence derived. So we continue to teach that. When we teach all of our trainings, we stick to the Ask Care Escort model. Because it takes individuals step by step on how to offer that intervention.
So I think you've probably heard before, it takes a village. So how does your organization here at the Great Place incorporate community resources and organizations to help combat the issue?
Okay, well, we all partner together. It depends on if it's an individual family. It could be something within the schools, something affecting the military, the active duty population. All of the agencies will partner together to tackle whatever issue may be at hand. We're at a point to where we can look at sharing resources to be able to tackle some of these things as well. So it just depends on whatever the need is. We're all flexible because we're basically here to take care of the service members and their families. And we can partner up at any time to help tackle those issues.
And speaking of families, what role do you think that spouses, peers, friends, loved ones play in helping, to...
Tremendous role. Because of course spouses, part of that role is to be their support, to be that active listener. The family members at home may be the first ones to observe any behaviors or comments made in relation to suicidal behaviors or ideations. They may be the first ones to see that or hear that. So they would need to know how to recognize the warning signs, and they would need to know who to contact. Do they contact the commanders? Or do they need to get a chaplain on the line? Do they need to call the Suicide Prevention and Crisis Lifeline, 988? Do they need to get a counselor on the phone? So we definitely recommend family members get trained as well. Here at Fort Cavazos, we do offer the Live and Works Assist training. We offer that coming up the next fiscal year, 25. It's going to be offered every other month at the People First Center. And family members and military dependents age 16 years old and above can attend that training absolutely free. It's a two-day course, and it's heavily focused on the intervention piece, okay? I've recognized the signs. This is how I can intervene with my spouse, with my teenager, and kind of get them focused on life and find hope. And then this is how we can create a safety plan for our home to make sure our home is safe. And these are some places I can contact, as far as resources, as professionals, and to continue, keeping them in a safe place. So it's very important. Family members are also trained up.
So I can imagine that sometimes it's hard to recognize the signs and the symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
How would one do that? And are there signs and symptoms that are more prevalent than others?
Well, it's all going to vary, of course, by person. All cases are different. As far as in the military community goes, what we found in and historically, sometimes our service members, they will use a lot of dark humor. They will make jokes about death or make jokes about suicide. We've seen many cases where service members will begin giving personal belongings away, giving their pets away. Sometimes, now social media, people use social media and make comments and post things there. And so someone can recognize that's a little bit of a red flag. That's a little bit off or different or out of the norm for this person. So it just really takes all of us collectively as a community to just pay attention. Okay, what's normal for you? What's normal for this person? To be able to recognize those signs and again, intervene early on.
And if a person is unsure of what they're seeing, they may think it's, a sign and they may not. What advice would you give as far as how they should proceed?
Okay. Well, if anyone's unsure, they can always contact 988. Again, 988 is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can call that number or text that number and get a counselor somewhere within the world. And for the most part, you can let them know what you've observed. What did you just hear? What did you just see? Should I be concerned? Should I alert the chain of command? Or should I contact the EMPs, or emergency services? What steps should I take? So that's probably the easiest resource to get to quickly is to dial 988. And we always recommend everyone should know, as far as like an alert tree, phone numbers to contact, their chain of command, their battle buddies, have a neighbor, someone you can speak to who may be aware. That's why we highly encourage everyone attend training, okay, and attend training more than one time if you need to, because this is serious. It's very serious, and we can never play it down and say, oh, they didn't mean it. Oh, they always say that, or nothing's going to happen. We need to go ahead and contact professionals and allow them to guide us. That way we can get that person to safety.
So you mentioned the 988 number that you can text or call.
Yes.
You also mentioned the phone tree.
Yes.
Are there any other steps that one should implement, or is there maybe like a process that you could prepare in advance or just have readily available to reference?
So as far as references goes, any type of outreach event we have or any, like Shoemaker Center is pretty much the prevention hub of Fort Cavazos. There's so many flyers and magnets and things that have all type of contact numbers on there. But as far as preparation in advance, sometimes we don't really prepare to prevent someone from dying by suicide unless we are aware of those signs and we've, have seen some of those. We've observed some of those things in the home, but just making sure that the home is safe. So if this is an individual who has had concerns with maybe swallowing pills before, you want to make sure that you don't have a bunch of prescription pills laying around that are expired. The CRDMC has boxes where you can return expired medication, so you don't have excess medication just lying around for someone to get a cocktail going to harm themselves. But if you have sharp objects laying around, any long rope or ligature that someone could hang themselves, if there are firearms in the household, are they secured? Are they out of reach? Is there a trigger lock on there? Do you have a safe? Can you change the code? So there's a variety of things that individuals can do to make sure their homes are safe and their families are safe. We also provide a lethal means safety checklist to family members, and there's a number of steps there so they can make sure their home is like suicide safe.
So, hypothetically, myself or someone else, if we noticed these warning signs in a friend or a colleague, I can imagine we'd probably be a little bit overwhelmed, maybe a little bit afraid, stressed out at the time. What advice would you give in a situation like that? What would be the first thing? Probably to dial the 988, how should we try and comfort the person? What things should we say?
Well, again, we have to kind of use good judgment depending on how the situation comes about. Again, every case will be different, but number one, be present. Just be there, be present. active listening, validate feelings. I'm not judging you. I'm here to listen to you and hear what's troubling you at this time. And sometimes us as human beings, especially those of us that are fixers, we want to offer a bunch of solutions. Well, let's call. Well, let's go. That individual may not be ready for that. So sometimes just sitting beside them or sitting in the same room, just being present may be enough, okay, in the beginning. It depends on the situation, but active listening for sure, being non-biased, non-judgmental. If we don't know the words to say to comfort someone, you can dial 988 and put it on speaker. I'm here with my friend, I'm here with my neighbor, I'm here with my spouse. This is what they just stated, or I'm concerned because of these reasons. Please assist me in talking with them. And you can put 988 on speakerphone, and they can go through all the talks for you. Because not all of us are mental health professionals. And sometimes we want to help, but our own energy may be depleted. We may not be in a good spot to offer assistance. So we just have to at least know the resources that are there to pick up the pieces.
So I'm sure in your long career, you've probably had many stories that have left an impact on you. Would you mind sharing one?
Oh, yes.
That was positively impacted by your efforts?
Oh, that's a long list. It is. Actually, Ms. Dietra Woods is here this morning, and she can actually share a unique situation about how after receiving training that we offer, we can save lives.
Okay, so maybe your commute doesn't look quite like this, but don't let the road throw you an unexpected curve. Many riders would tell you that riding in heavy traffic or on the freeway is the most dangerous thing people do routinely on a motorcycle. Not true. 73% of single rider mishaps happened on curves. Stay focused, stay aware, stay alive. Readiness through safety.
Ms. Woods, it's so great to have you with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So what is it that you do here at the Great Place?
So I'm a prevention implementation specialist with the Integrated Prevention Advisory Group here at Fort Cavazos. However, I'm also a retired soldier who was a 3-Corps soldier who deployed with the Corps. So that's kind of my background as far as who I am. I was with the military for 25 years, and now I've been on the DOD side for about 7 years now, ma'am.
So you have a personal connection here at the Great Place?
Yes, ma'am, I
Okay.
do. I used to joke and say they were going to have a street named after me.
Really?
So, because I started here as specialist, and then I went all the way up to master sergeant when I retired.
Okay, so how do you support the efforts to prevent and boost awareness of suicide?
So one of the main things that we do within the IPAG is we ensure that we know all of the harmful behaviors that exist within the installation. The program's been around for about 2 years now. So prior to that, I was a sexual assault victim advocate. So prevention has always been who I've been a part of, even when I was in the military. And so now one of the main things that we're trying to do with the IPAG is ensure that the commanders, the family members, and civilians are aware that we're here and that we want to assist as much as we can. So we usually boost out different types of agencies that are out there to assist. But we also are very well invested as far as being a part of the IPAG. We have social workers in there. We have alcohol abuse, substance abuse personnel. I already explained that I'm a sexual assault victim advocate. There are several of us up in there. So there's many of us that sit in the IPAG that are capable of helping if we need to go that direction, ma'am.
So in your opinion, what is the most important thing to remember when, supporting the initiative of preventing and making people aware of suicide?
That connectedness, ensuring that, that everyone stays connected, whether with your coworker, your family member, or whoever it might be. I mean, it can take as simple as saying hello to somebody as you're coming through the gate to make that person's day be that much better. So we really harp on being connected with everyone and ensuring that we show our human side, because a lot of times people can get out there and just be like, well, I'm not really going to speak today. I'm just going to walk in, and that can affect a person negatively. So we try to ensure that positive is being pushed out amongst everybody.
What advice would you give for those who've actually been personally affected by suicide?
Well, that's a hard one, only because, like Ms. Dixon said earlier, every individual is different. However, everyone wants to be loved, respected, and known that, it's okay to feel how you feel. So I think as long as we always do that dignity and respect when it comes to whoever it may be, that right there will connect someone to everyone.
I understand that you've been personally affected by it.
Yeah, I have a couple of instances, but the one that specifically sticks out to me the most is, and I did go to the assist training that Miss Summer talked about. I've been to the training twice now. The first time was when I first came back to Fort Cavazos in 2014. At that time, General Milley was our installation commander, and he spoke on how all leaders should know how to assist, be there for their soldiers, family members if necessary. For me, I didn't expect for it to come up so quickly though, because I had a soldier that was deployed and she called back to me. I was on Rear D and explained how she was about to, do what she needed to do. And I'm like, wait a minute, it was kind of difficult because I'm here and she was all the way in Iraq. But at the time I carried 3 phones, which I tended to do that all the way up until I retired. And I was able to keep her on the line as well as call in another line to get personnel that was in Iraq to kind of go in there and see what was going on, because she was in her own, we call them chews, which was personal space where soldiers lived at. And they got in there to her before she could do anything. But I will tell you, she was mad at me for probably about a good year after the fact, because she said I didn't want to be saved. And I said, it wasn't about saving you, it was ensuring that you understood that I heard what you were saying, and I wanted someone to be there for you. And so all these years later, she's still very much my daughter. I have a lot of daughters in the armed military, of course, but she's one of my daughters who has now told me that her children are my grandchildren. I don't have any grandchildren yet, but just that was like a good news story. But I'm very aware that there are some that are not good news stories. I could go all the way back to when I graduated from high school, knowing someone who decided that that's what they wanted to do and they completed it. So it's not a good subject, and I only smile because I'm covering my pain. And I think if people understand that when we work with you, it's not that we don't understand or we're not hearing what you're saying, just kind of like a way of coping, because I am a retired soldier, so we learn those different ways to cope and to be able to compartmentalize different things. But suicide is something that's near to me and will never be like a laughing joke, a joking moment to me, because it's not funny. But I think a lot of people need to have that conversation with their significant others and their soldiers, because you just never know.
So it sounds like, you being in tune with your soldier made all the difference. How important do you think that is for military leadership to make sure that they are staying engaged and paying attention to how their soldiers are feeling and what they're saying?
That's so huge. A lot of commanders, a lot of times think that once they put on the rank of, say, colonel, that they no longer exist to be a human being. And I had a commander one time say to me, "Dee, how do I express to my soldiers that I care?" And I said, "Sir, take off that rank from here. It used to be here, but now it's here. Take off the rank from here and just allow them to see you for yourself. And once they see you, they'll still respect your rank, but now they understand they can have an actual conversation with you that's not always about whatever the mission may be at that time." Because if you have a soldier that earnestly feels like they have connected with that commander in some type of way, they'll work harder for you.
Exactly. When soldiers, I'm a fellow soldier myself, when we feel loved, when we feel cared about, when we feel like they actually care about what we think, how we feel, to the smallest minute detail, I think we do tend to work harder. We're more, excited to do well, because we know this person is investing in us and we want to do that in turn.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
Great. Well, I appreciate you sharing that, because I know that it had to be sort of difficult. But as you stated, this is a very serious issue, and I'm really, really happy that the Great Place has all of these programs, services, resources, and things in place for soldiers and their families, to have access to.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you. And again, if anybody needs any help when it comes to suicide, that number is 988. And to always remember, never leave that person alone. A lot of times people think that, well, I'm just going to let them do what they do and just not even bother them. No, be right there with them, because when you're with that person, now they feel your spirit even more. Right. So thank you again.
Thank you
Yes, ma'am.
for being here with us.
Country music's hit maker is back. Cole Swindell, live in concert. Saturday, September 28th, Phantom Warrior Stadium on Fort Cavazos. With special guest, comedian Adam Yinser. A free show for DOD ID card holders. Only at Phantom Warrior Stadium, Fort Cavazos. Don't miss this free show.
Welcome to the Fort Cavazos Minute. We've got everything you need to know to stay connected and informed. First up, please note that Legends Way between 72nd Street and Playcool Drive will be closed from 9:55 a.m. to 11 a.m. on September 6th. Be sure you plan accordingly. Mark your calendars for the 9/11 Honor the Fallen 5K Remembrance Walk on September 7th, starting at 8 a.m. at Warrior Way Fitness Center. It's free to participate, and you can register at any on-post facility or the morning of. Up next, don't miss Rock the Brave Military Family Fest on September 28th at Phantom Warrior Stadium. Enjoy food, games, and celebrity appearance, with everything getting starting at 2 p.m. For first-time commissary Click-to-Go users, save $15 on your first $75 order from now through October 27th on Fort Cavazos commissaries. Sign up online or visit the demonstration tables at both commissaries. That's all for your Fort Cavazos Minute. Stay tuned to stay connected. Hey everyone, it's me, Eric Franklin, and I'm joined here by...
Samantha Harms with the Garrison Public Affairs Office.
I'm with the Garrison Public Affairs Office too. So, this week, Sam, we talked about suicide awareness and prevention. And I have to say, it's one of those things that hits home to a lot of people. It hits home to me as well. And I love how Dee Dee shared a personal story. Like, I think that's sometimes what we miss when we're talking about that personal touch with it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think those personal stories really bring it home for people and really, you hear... these are the things you should do, and these are the things that we want you to do. But it's different when someone says, this is something that I have done. So
so it was a great, I think I learned a lot. I always learn a lot from the podcast, but I think it was important that we had them on. And this is day 2 of September, so I think it was right on time that we got them in here, because I know they said they have a lot of stuff going on this month, so I'm glad we got them in.
Yeah, me too.
So what's been going on with you?
That is a great question. I was on the podcast not that long ago, but when I was on, the first thing I said was, it feels weird, being back here, but I'm excited to be back. 'Cause, I've been so busy with school and work and just all the things. So it's kept me busy.
So I guess I could say one cool thing now is, for everyone who got used to seeing my pretty face, it's not really pretty. But for all those who are used to me being one of the co-hosts, I will still be here. Yeah. I won't be as active with the podcast, but I'll still be here from time to time. So I might just still do the Fort Cavazos Minute, because I fought so hard to have that. So I may just do that every week. I don't know, but I'm moving. I'm staying in the office, but I'm just moving to a different section. I'm going to be media relations, so I'll still be here. But if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can still email me, and I'll make sure I get them to Sam.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations on your new position. Yes, I am going to miss watching you every week. Because even though I'm not on every week, I still watch, obviously. Yeah. So it'll be weird, but I'm excited for everybody and for the team. And, that means we'll be bringing in new faces as things happen, which is very exciting for us. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think the team that we have and the team we have with the 3rd Armored Corps Public Affairs, I think we're rocking and rolling, and I think it's going to be great. Yeah,
I think so too. But the weirdest part though?
What's that?
I can't believe it's September already.
Oh my God.
It feels so strange to say that, I was going to say, congratulations and, how's your summer been? But people are already starting to bring out Halloween decorations. Yeah. Is it really summer anymore? I don't know.
So the guy who lives 2 houses down, not the neighbor that I'm upset with, but the guy that lives 2 houses down from me, he's already took up his mulch, his summer mulch, and he's putting down fall mulch. He was putting down fall mulch yesterday. I was just like, oh my God, don't do this. So I just know, and he usually puts out a bale of hay, and it's always very seasonal when he has it. Yeah, but it's cool. But it's just what?
Yeah.
Christmas is around the corner, so
I know.
can't wait.
Yeah, I am excited. I know all the big brand stores are putting out their Halloween stuff already, so I have some shopping to do, and it'll be a good time.
Speaking of Halloween, is there a Halloween party this year?
A Halloween party, like for our office, or a Halloween party for like the installation?
For the party.
For the office?
Both of them.
Oh, well, for the office, I don't know, maybe.
Hey, how about this?
We'll think about it.
Yeah, I just want to come one day, just as long as I get to wear something different. One day, I'm going to do
Well,
it.
I think you could just do that for Halloween.
I think I will.
You
But
could
I
just
wanna
like
do it
wear
at work.
a costume to work. That's nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
think the boss will let us do it.
I think so.
Or he's going to tell me go home and change. One of the two, we'll figure it out.
50-50 shot, really.
As the day goes on, we'll see. Maybe I can hide out from him all day. We'll see what
Oh, that would be an interesting tactic.
happens. Well, I think that's about it for this week. Nothing else really. I mean, there's always something going on in a great place, but nothing really sticks out to me. So that's it. That's all I got to say.
That's all I got. I'm excited to be back.
Yeah.
Excited for the future of our podcast.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we like to thank everyone for joining us, and we look forward to talking to you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.